Let me introduce myself. I have completed MCA in 2015, a quality oriented professional in delivering Ruby on Rails and Python training. I am working as a full time software developer and freelance trainer for a Ruby and Python too. I have trained 20 plus branches and 100 plus students. So the scope of the demo is regarding first of all we are knowing here Ruby on Rails, right? So here let me introduce the Ruby on Rails, what exactly the language and framework, and then we'll go through the Ruby on Rails introduction. And what is the scope of the Ruby on Rails? So here advantages, applications, features, where we are using, and what's the demand of the Ruby on Rails. So we'll see those things. And the pros and cons of the Ruby on Rails. So we'll see one by one. First, let me introduce what is programming language first. So, programming language is nothing, okay? Writing some code, right? So, whatever we are writing, the code that should be in a computer understandable language that we can call it as programming language. So, that programming language maybe it is a Python, Ruby, Java, C, C++, anything. So, that is a simple terms in a programming language. But with the programming language, we write only the code and we can execute something. That's it. And we'll see the framework, the term framework. So the term framework, it refers to a structure. It's a structure like some frame. Here also we have some frame, right? So here we have some frame. So here in this Google document, we just click to file and then a new. So it will open some template and we can write something. So it is a Google document frame like that. So for the web application, like if we see the Amazon as a web application, so in this Amazon, so we'll give you the request and then we'll get the response. So request means if we are clicking any button, we will get the response for a particular user. So like that, the framework. So framework is already framed. So here it follows the MVC pattern. So model view controller architecture pattern. So here it also uses ORM concepts. So ORM is nothing but object relational mapping. So with that, the web application is framed. Already it is framed with some components. We have to use that and we can customize based on our requirement. That is a framework. So in this framework, we are having a Ruby on Rails. So Ruby on Rails is a framework which is used by Ruby is the language. So it's Ruby on Rails is written by using Ruby. By using Ruby on Rails framework, we can build a web application. So like Amazon or Flipkart or any educational. Like that application we can build by using Ruby on Rails. Of course, you may see here we have many web applications are built by using so many frameworks, right? So in this, Ruby on Rails is one. So it is written in Ruby. So now we are telling it is a highly productive and beginner friendly and open source framework. So compared to others, like we have also Django framework is there, Flask is there. With by using Ruby, we also having Tintara is the framework. Like there's so many frameworks out there in our computer market. But we are preferring Ruby on Rails. Why? Because it is a open source. First, it is an open source framework, and it is beginner friendly, Why? Because this syntax is like English language only. So here, whatever it is there, we can easily understand in a less time itself. So in less time, we can do the more productivity. So less time and more productivity is there by using Ruby on Rails. And also it is a very popular and we have a very good developer community is there for Ruby on Rails. And also I will show you one survey of Ruby on Rails. So with that you can see how the Ruby on Rails is there in our market as of now. I will show you the Stack Overflow survey. So let me show, okay, 21 is there and also 22 is there. Let me show you first 2021 Stack Overflow survey. If you see it here in technology, also here 2022. Let me open this one also. In this technologies, so if we see the top paying and top most, so most popular languages, whatever it is, so here we have many up there, and if you see Ruby is there, so it is one of the most popular language in a programming language wise. If we check the top paying, so whatever the complex we can learn, but we focus on demand and the paying wise only, right? So if we see the paying wise, Ruby is in sixth position. So Ruby on Rails is written by using Ruby only. No? So that's I'm showing. And if we see the web framework, so this is our main focus, Ruby on Rails. So it is a top framework in 2021 survey. If we see the same thing in a 2022 survey, here also technology, and if you see the most top paying technologies, web framework, if you see the Ruby on Rails, so it is in second place, but also okay. In paying wise, this is a 77 in 2021 and in 2022, it is a $94,644. It's an average salary. So like this survey is there. So by using Stack Overflow survey, you will be knowing some knowledge on how the demand in our market for Ruby on Rails, right? And the applications wise, so where we are using this Ruby on Rails exactly is it is used for web development. So like Amazon, Flipkart, and there are any college applications, university applications, anything. We can build the application by using Ruby on Rails in less time with a more productive manner. And the features we already discussed, it is a fully demanded and it is a open source, beginner friendly language. And here it is having a warring concepts is that means it is object relational mapping. So here we no need to go to the other databases. So we have already the active record concept. So with that we can able to create from end to end application by using only the Ruby on Rails concepts of MVC and RORs, MVC pattern and object relational mapping. And also it is used for web development, web DevOps, and automation, and web scraping, crawling, and data processing too. And compared to other languages, Ruby on Rails is in less time itself, we can write the code in a productive manner. So it is a beginner friendly language. And also Ruby is beginner friendly languages and Ruby on Rails is a
This meeting is being recorded.
so it's all about the scope of demo. So till now we discussed introduction of Ruby on Rails and the advantages and the features of Ruby on Rails. So it is a fully demanded and more paying jobs also is there for Ruby on Rails. If we see the cons, so these are all advantages, okay, and also we have few cons, but those are very less only. In Ruby on Rails, we connect only the one database at a time. So that is the only drawback here. So here we can't connect the multiple database at a time, but that is also we can achieve by using few concepts. Now we'll see the course outline. So the ROR course is designed in a three parts. So first is for Ruby on Rails introduction and installation will go, and then the Ruby programming from basic to advanced concepts, and then the Rails. So MVC structure and ORM. So it is object oriented mapping and views, templates, and then mailing concepts and the gems, where to use, how to connect, and how to create a project by using the gems and also scaffolding. Those are all we can see in a Rails. So this is the course outline. So from the zero knowledge to professional knowledge, this course will give you. And not only the concepts of Rails, you also having a few add-ons from this course. So you can build a project and also you'll be getting a practice on test. I'll be giving the assignment after the session. So you have to go through the assignment and solve. And if you have any doubts, we'll come to next session. And it's I will be giving resume preparation tips and interview preparation tips and questions. And you will be getting few resources from the course. So notes I'll be sharing in Google document after every session, and also you will be getting the presentation of concepts and web links of online quizzes and assignments for practice, and also interview question answers you will be. So here we mainly focus on the three projects. So one is for college application. Here we can go step by step. So for college application, we'll create authentication system and then authorization feature for separate dashboards of students and lecturers, and the emailing feature for the successful registration or login of the user or student, we can say, in the college application. So the first project is for the basic things. So whatever we are using for college application, that is required for each and every application. Next thing is e-commerce application. So in this e-commerce application, we can show you the products of the system and also adding and removing an item to the cart. After the successful cart, we'll go for ordering the items and also getting some email notification. That is all about second project. And the third project is very, very advanced to the project 2. In this project, exclusive cart application, so based on few offers, offer price may changes. And also here we can show the recommendation list to get an offer, and we can do the order of cart item and we'll get the email notification. So these are the projects which involve in our course. And the lab setup for course is we need a high-speed internet for the session, and you'll be require a desktop or laptop system. And the system requirements are, if you are Windows lover, it should be Windows 7 or more. And for developer specific, I will recommend Ubuntu. That should be 20.04 or above. And the 500 GB hard disk memory should be 16 GB plus, and CPU 4 cores is required. And after the course completion, I will be taking mock interviews to analyze your gaps and I'll be giving based on that. So you will be performing based on specific feedback. So these are a few questions for an interview question. And with this course, you will be having a knowledge to attempt the global certifications too. So the global certifications for the Ruby and Ruby on Rails are Ruby Association Certified Ruby Programmer Silver version 3 and Gold version 3. So you can also having a stamina to attempt this certification. Let me discuss one small topic in Ruby. So Ruby on Rails is a framework. Ruby is a programming language. So Ruby on Rails is written in Ruby. So we need a first Ruby. So I will take one simple concept in Ruby to make you understand. So I will take the variable concept. So variable is a memory space. So it's a memory space for data. So let me give one name. So suppose name. Okay, name is here. Name is one variable. So here we are calling name is something. Name in this name we can keep something. In this name we are giving some characters in between double quotes. And also in this name I can use the age as a variable name. Here I can give the 34 too. So this is string type and this is a integer type. So here we can call it as this is a string type. It is a group of characters and age is an integer type. And also the average marks also will be there. No? So for the 23 dot something, I use the float. So float is nothing but a decimal points. And okay, these are three variables I have taken. So in this name, I'll be storing some string data, and in age, I'm storing some integer data, and in average, I'm storing some float data. So the variable is a memory space. It is just something reference type. So name, age, average, these are all a memory space for this specific data. So integer data and string data, float data. So whatever it is, in Ruby, these variables are typed. There is no type. We are not mentioning any type compared to other languages. So in other languages, we have to mention string. If it is int, we have to show define it as int, and if it is float, we have to define it as float. But in Ruby, it is not required. So the beginner can write easily. He can understand the variable. It is just a memory space. Here we can write anything. So based on the data, the variable type will decide. So based on this data, average is float, and based on data, this age is integer type, and based on this string type, name is a string related. So this is a very basic on variable topic. And in this variable, Ruby is, it is not a type specific. Also in Ruby, this is just we are defining. So here three variables are there. We are defining in one in each line. And for reduce of lines, we can use the same line of code also. Name, comma, age, comma, average equal to, we can use directly. can use something like this. In same line, we can use the declaration too. So name will be storing GHFD and age will be storing 34 and the average will be storing 56.33. So in one line, we can assign the whole variables. So how many number is not here required? So here plenty number, multi-declaration, we can use it in a single line. And also if suppose the A is having value 30, B is having value 30 and also C is having value 30. So these are all having 30 only. So like these cases, we can use directly A equal to B equal to C equal to the value is 30. Okay. In the same line, so this multi-declaration, we can use it in a single line. This can be possible in a Ruby. So Ruby is not a type specific. We can do a multiple declarations too in a single line itself. And also here we have naming conventions are a variables. So naming conventions are the first thing is whatever we are writing here, name, age, average we have written, and also here we have written A and B, C. So whatever we are writing, the variable should be in a lowercase. So one is lowercase letters. It should be all lowercase letters. If suppose if any words are there in between, means suppose space studies. If here we have two words, space and then studies. So these should be joining by using underscore. This we can do. So if suppose any joining words are there, we can use the underscore. But the starting letter should be lowercase letter. And also we can use the numbers too. But it should not be at starting of the variable. We can use later. So in between we can use the numbers too. So these are about the variable related concepts. And in Ruby we have also the types of variables. Those are first is a local variable and then instance variable and class variable and then global variable. These are four types of variables in Ruby. So local variable means if we are writing any block of code, so it only accessible by the block itself. That we can call it as local variable. The instance variable, instance and class is respect to the object. So local means only for specific block of code only accessible. And instance and class means it is for object oriented. So what is object? You will be knowing in a next session. So instance is nothing but object of the class. So instance we can use for across the methods. And the class variables we can use across the objects. And last thing, global variables. Global variables are we can access throughout the application or throughout the program we can see. So these are the types of the variable. These types of variable we can differentiate by using a prefix. So local variable should be normal conventions we know, that is a lowercase letter. It should be start with lowercase and it should not start with digit. And if suppose any words are there in between, we can add the underscore. So same conventions we should use for local variable. So only the lowercase letter, it should start with lowercase letter. So the variable prefix should be lowercase letter. That's it for local variables. And it is accessible only the specific blocks only. And the instance variable, it should be prefixed with the at symbol, and this instance variable we can access across the blocks. Then class variables. Class variables should be prefixed with double at symbol and it should be accessible across objects. And the last one is global variables. It should be prefixed with dollar symbol and it should access across all the classes. So it's all about variables in Ruby. So only Ruby has these types of variables, not in any other languages. And till now, we have seen Ruby has a variable of four types. So those are local, instance, and class, and global. And compared to other languages, Ruby, we can declare the variable in a single line if suppose we have multi-declaration. And also it is not a type specific language. So here we no need to mention the type and we can multi-declaration also we can do in a Ruby. So these are specific to Ruby only. So these are basic in understanding and you will be knowing more in a further classes. Thank you.